Welcome, guys. Welcome to another episode. Today, I kind of feel like doing something else, different than what I did the other times. I kind of feel like giving you guys a little update, a little life update. Um, yeah, so let's try it out. Let's see if that is something we want to continue or not. Because I kind of miss our coffee talks. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, I kind of slipped a little bit into like too serious stuff and whatever. And I kind of feel like I like talking about serious things, but I kind of felt, I don't know why, but the last couple of weeks, I didn't feel this urge to like talk about deep things. I just felt this feeling of like, oh, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about anything. I don't know if you know that feeling when you're just like, oh, can we just not talk about something serious? Can we just speak? Can we just, have a coffee together and chill the fuck out? And that's literally how I'm feeling. So yeah, anyways, let me just take you along that and let's see if we like that or not. And as always, I'm saying we because we're in this together since we're having a little coffee date. And instead of coffee, I made myself something really nice. And it's like, it's so fucking good. I hope you can see it well, but I mean, there's not really much to see. But the thing is, what I've been doing, and this was just the best drink ever that I had in. I don't know if it was Thailand or Bali, but I think it was in Thailand where I had it the first time was a watermelon shake. That was like the best thing I ever had. I never really understood how they made it though. I don't know, I was not sure if they just used fruit and just, like mixed that with some ice cubes and that was it. And I had a very like, when you have watermelon at home that is not fresh anymore. And I mean, sometimes it happens you buy a fresh one and it's already this has this mushy texture. I don't know if you know what I mean, but when it's so like mushy where you're just like, ooh, this tastes kind of weird, and it's a little too sweet, and it's not. I don't know what is the English word for that. When you bite into it and it cracks like as if you would bite into a cucumber, for example. But I don't know the English word for it. But I think you know what I mean. So if you have like a super soft, like squishy watermelon and you don't want to throw it out, like mix it. This is the best thing ever, and I put some ice cubes in. And like for whatever reason, this tastes so damn good and it's so sweet. And I promise you this is better than a lemonade. I kind of feel like you could add some, like lemon probably and some mint to make it feel a little more iced tea ish or like a lemonade kind of vibe. I think iced tea could work too if you just use black tea, but I don't know if that would taste good. Hmm. But this is great. So if you ever want to make something, I think watermelon is also really good for like hydrating your body and detoxification as far as I remember. So yeah, this is a great drink. Mm, and like besides that, I kind of feel like my mind just has been so occupied lately with me going on a big trip because I have not been anywhere for, I think, yeah, longer than a year. I think the last time I flew somewhere for like longer than 2 weeks was when I was in Bali, and that's like, I think 1.5 years ago. Damn. And I mean, the reason why I didn't go anywhere was just because I moved to Munich and I didn't feel like I wanted to like already leave. So I remember I was in Bali in Australia, but after that I was like, damn, let me just try to live here rather than already, like fly somewhere else again. So yeah, now it's finally time and I'm flying to California soon. And it's kind of weird to say that. It's kind of interesting to really be like, oh, damn, yeah, I am going. I'm going very soon. I mean, I'm flying in a week. And the thing with me is like, I love traveling. And also when I'm traveling on my own, or I'm just, traveling on my own, but I'm flying to see some friends so I can stay with them. But mainly I'm, like doing the daytime things I'm gonna do by myself. It's interesting because every time I'm in that kind of sphere where I'm more, focused on, or like my main trip is focused on myself and my me time, I'm kind of starting to like hyperfixate around things like my clothes, for example, which I think just really comes to this urge to like feeling safe, feeling secure. And I mean, the world is a scary place, but at the same time, I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm protected and it's fine. I don't have to worry too much about it. But I am aware of it, to be honest. And then there's like this always like this fine line between, like, oh, I'd rather pack some just oversized t shirts, just not be, like not be too much in the I don't know how to say that, but it's not that I want to hide, but it's more like an let me just hide my body a little bit and let me just, like let me wear something where people cannot really tell what my body type is and what my body actually looks like to make me feel safer. And also with like being neurodivergent and overstimulated easily, I kind of feel like something loose is always, especially in summertime, like my preferred choice, because like everything that is tight, when you're like starting to sweat and it's getting too hot and you're having a hard time regulate your body, especially like your temperature, your body temperature. That's why I feel like, like wearing something airy and flowy is always like my preferred thing. So yeah, I think that's the reason why I've been like pushing away the whole like packing thing, because I'm just overwhelmed, to be honest. I'm just like, what am I supposed to pack? The thing is though, like I'm not just gonna be at one specific spot. Like I'm gonna be mainly in San Francisco, but I'm also not staying in San Francisco itself. I'm gonna be a little bit above, and then for a weekish, and then I'm gonna go for a weekish like underneath San Francisco. And San Francisco itself kind of seems like it's around 20-degree ish, I think, and everything above and below is around 24, I would say. I think that's what I saw. But like daytime, and then at night it's gonna cool down even more. And I'm gonna be in San Diego for a week too, and that's where it's gonna be the hottest. So like my mind is like there's so much. And I mean, it's not normally, it's not really an issue, right? Because when I'm at home, I just have a lot of options and I'm just gonna be like, okay, it's cold, let me just take that and whatever. But now that I have to like pack so smart that I barely bring anything because I know myself and I know I'm gonna find things and I know I'm gonna wanna bring them back. So I'm gonna have to like make sure that I bring as little as possible to then when I find something not be in the scenario of damn, like I wish I could bring this but I can't because I'm running out of space. So yeah, it's like I don't know if you have any tips. If you do, please let me know, because it's kind of going between like I don't know. I'm trying to make like or think of like a logics that makes sense to me, in the sense of like, oh, I'm just gonna bring like one pair of jeans, and then I'm gonna bring two different types of shorts, and I was also thinking of like a long pants that is out of thinner material, kind of like a business pan actually, so like a business vibe a little bit. Because I kind of feel like what I'm gravitating towards always like very sporty things. So like, my Adidas shorts, and then I also have an Adidas tennis skirt, and I really like these things. I don't know, but I think when you're on vacation, it's kind of like easy to just look like super, I don't know, just not put together and lazy in some sorts. At least that's how I'm feeling often when I'm traveling, because I'm so leaning towards comfort But I don't know, just this is just not who I am, because I'm not really, I mean, I like my comfort clothes and stuff, but it's not really that I'm someone who's like wearing that stuff outside really a lot. I don't know. I like having a balance. And I think that balance is always like a little off when you're on vacation, which is fine. I mean, I don't have to impress anyone whatsoever, but it's just, I think when you're traveling, you just really have this urge of like comfort and stuff. So, yeah, anyways, I don't know if you have a different logic, because I was thinking with like a jacket. I can't really bring a jacket because that's just going to use too much space. And yeah, so I don't know. My mind, see me talking about it is already very chaotic, because I kind of feel like my mind is very chaotic when it comes to packing. But yeah, anyways, other than that, I kind of feel like besides the whole California thing, I'm like super excited and at the same time like a little scared, because I have not been to the US in like since 2018, which for me is like a very long time. Because you usually, like how it used to be with my parents, is we went to the US like I think every other year, like sometimes once a year, but then sometimes every 2 years. Um, yeah. And I don't know, I really miss it. I do really miss it. And I know that there's a lot going on in the US right now, but I still am so happy to go and so excited to go. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just really happy about it. And I really hope that it's gonna bring me the inspiration that I've been kind of lacking, like currently being back in my hometown. Just really, I don't know why. I don't know if you have that too, but it's kind of this feeling of when you're in your hometown, there's just so little of an inspiration, because everything kind of feels like you're on autopilot. Because I kind of do feel like sometimes when you're, I don't know, sometimes you have an impulse to like use a different street that you normally would take, and you see something new which can give you an impulse. But other than that, like when I'm sitting in the car, when I'm on my bike, I'm just like very on autopilot rather than like thinking a lot. And I think this really is where you're overthinking so much more when you're in an environment that feels familiar. And it's so interesting. Maybe that's also why we just love vacation so much, and like going on vacation is genuinely probably because it helps us getting out of our head. Because think about it. I mean, if you're focusing on which route to take, like, oh, which coffee shop could I try out today? It's kind of bringing you in a very different energy than if you are in your hometown where you just know everything and you already know what to expect. Like, especially for me, like, I'm living in I mean, it's not a small town, but it's a smaller town, and everyone knows everyone. It's kind of like I don't know, you're driving downtown. It's like very I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it's not random to walk into the same person like 3 times a day if you're just staying there for like 2 hours. Like there's always like very similar people in the city. I mean, there are students here too, which makes it a little more fresher, but still, I don't know. It's interesting to explain. I kind of feel like you need to be in the city to kind of understand what I know, but yeah, there's just very little inspiration. And I've kind of been finding myself in this space where I just want to break out and I want to discover who I am becoming. And I think we're always in the state of becoming. Like, I've been thinking about this, and I think genuinely we're all the time in a state of becoming. And there is this thought of like, oh, you need to like know exactly what kind of style you have. You need to know exactly where you're going, what your dreams are, and whatsoever. But I've been like, I genuinely been thinking about this, and I think this is kind of wrong. I mean, I don't like the word like right or wrong, but to me, this doesn't resonate, because I kind of feel like if we're walking through life and we're constantly in new environments where we get inspiration and like we get this, it could even just be like going into a different city, doesn't always have to be like flying somewhere, like going somewhere completely different, but just going somewhere where you're able to observe things, to observe yourself, to observe how you're interacting with new people and how you're interacting with a new environment. I feel like just gives us so much creativity and helps us also with like being authentic and being ourselves. Cause I've been thinking about this too, was like styling. For me, like I've been genuinely having such a deep identity crisis when it comes to my style and when it comes to like how I'm dressing. Cause I think like there has been a part of me that always has been trying to be someone that that is just not really aligned with me anymore. And I'm not really sure if I have ever truly been that person or if that was just my version when I kind of moved to Munich and I had this feeling of I want to be part of a specific group where I kind of ended up being in, and I was with all these DJs and like what I consider as cool people, where now looking back I'm like, these were not my people and I did not really enjoy being with them. And genuinely, I feel like I've been the most myself when I lived in Vienna when it comes to my style and when it comes to my friends and to the people around me. And I've been trying to like think a little bit like why that was the case rather than how it was in Munich. And I genuinely feel like your hobbies and what you do with your time is influencing your style and how you're feeling and how you're perceiving yourself. Because living in Munich for me, I've been in a very deep transition phase and like, met this guy who was a catalyst for my growth and whatsoever. So my Munich version was very much like being in a liminal space and completely like it was a complete ego death and complete death of self for a period of I think 8 months or something. Yeah, 8 months, I think, probably around that time. And I don't know, it was just super weird and I didn't really do much. I was at home a lot. I was not really experiencing anything rather than just, like detoxing my body, detoxing my soul, like reconnecting with my deeper version. But at the same time, like I was so confused who I was that I just took on all these other people's energies and what they were doing and how they were dressing whatsoever. And it's really interesting because like looking back to Vienna, I worked at a marketing agency where I mean I didn't have the greatest time, but I genuinely just enjoyed the people there, enjoyed I don't know, I just felt so me. Like me living in Vienna just felt like so me, and I also acted upon a calling which I had to like move to Vienna. So I don't know if that had something to do with it too, but it's just like bringing it all together. I kind of feel like this like thinking so much about who we are is just a waste of time because we're always shifting into something else. And when we allow ourselves to be like, okay, my old hobbies are not working anymore, I gave away all my clothes, like I'm not really able to like revisit my old version. And I think in the past, like that, the calling that I had to like give away all these clothes was, I think, very intentional for my soul because I'm now very pressured into thinking about like, or like exploring more of who I am becoming. And I think if we just allow ourselves to like let the old go and just be okay with it and be okay with like not knowing what we like on ourselves or not really knowing like who we are currently, and just being okay with it rather than just being so pressureful with like I need to be something, I need to be someone, I need to be something. I think if we just let that go and we're just like, okay, I simply exist, and whatever inspires me are going to be the pieces that I'm gonna bring along with me, and the rest is like can just drop away. Because like for example, if I look at my rings, like like my rings for me are like very precisely chosen and are saying a lot about my experiences with life. Because, like, for example, this ring I got in Thailand. Or did I get it in Bali? I think I got it in oh no, I think I got it in Bali, and this one I got from my great aunt. And these are also like really from traveling and being places. And I don't know, I feel like this is just where like styling becomes so much more interesting. Also because you're just like you're attached to it in a positive way because it reminds you of a beautiful time. Like this thing, for example, this bangle thing, I just got it in a like random store in my hometown. And I like it. Like don't get me wrong, I like it and I like experimenting with it, but I don't really it's not like there's just a different feeling when you're going places and you're finding something and you're just relating this piece with an experience you had and how that experience formed you. And I think this is like truly where like the people that others are looking up to, where they're like, damn, these are like the real cool people, where you're like, damn, how are they doing their style? Like how are they just looking so effortlessly cool, has a lot to do with their hobbies, the people they're surrounded with, the experiences they're having, the things that they're allowing themselves to explore. It's a lot to do also with like playing, being able to just play with the things you own and not always having the need to buy new things. Because I think when I look back to like my favorite pieces that apparently I don't own anymore because they were so tied to my past version that I knew I had to let them go to not bring along all these past memories with me where like like bad things happened with my ex-boyfriend. I went on dates with these outfits, like they just felt like very heavy in the energy they held. So I was just like, damn, let me just give it away. And I honestly I do regret it now that I don't have these pieces anymore, but on the other hand, I don't know if I would have them, if I would even feel comfortable in them anymore. Like that's just a different thought, but I don't know, just thinking about it, like why I love these pieces so much was genuinely because I had a vision for every piece. Because let me explain that a little more. I went a lot of vintage shopping. Like even before it was a trend, my old best friend, like she really hooked me on like secondhand shopping, but not like vintage picked stores, but just really stores where you walk in and you're like, I'm never gonna find anything in here. And then sometimes you find a piece where like, oh, I see the vision, and then you're just taking it because it's cheap and you're like, fuck it, let me just buy it and see what I can do with it. And then what I did was I was trying to think of, oh, if I would crop it here, how would that look? If I would, cut off the arms, how would that look? And through that, I was able to like create my own pieces without really needing to like, have a degree in like fashion or whatsoever. I was really able to like make every piece my own without really, like I don't know what is the word for it. Is it sewing? No, sewing is something else. Like when you have the machine and you're like doing the thing. Don't know what it's called. Um, but yeah, I don't know. And then my grandma's able to like trim things accurately, so I would sometimes just give it to her and be like, hey, I have these pants, can you just like make them this and this long and whatsoever. And like don't get me wrong, I've fucked up pieces so many times. Like I've cut things too short, I cut things, I mean, I cannot say too long because I always cut things too short. But sometimes there were pieces that turned out so nice that they genuinely became a part of my identity, of my old identity, because I made them. I was the one that put the energy into it to alchemize it into something beautiful. And interestingly, these were always the pieces where like people asked me where I got it from, when they were like, "Oh my god, this piece looks so nice." And I don't know, I just feel like there's something magical when you're able to like bring your own energy into pieces, and you're just like very precise with what you're wearing and how you're wearing it. And like, I don't know why. I don't know. It's just really interesting to think about. And it's something I've been noticing for myself now. Is I think the reason why I have not been creating is because where I'm thriving is not from creating new things. I'm an alchemist. Like, I am able to, you give me something extremely ugly, and I'm able to turn it into gold. And I know this sounds like, um, what is that called in English? That sounds like very, oh, I'm so great, blah, blah, blah. No, this is just genuinely what I'm good at. Like, I'm not good at creating something from scratch. And I think, like, that's why I've never really picked up drawing. I've never really picked up writing something, because my mind is so overthinking the part of starting that I don't even start. But if you give me something and it's already a painting from someone else, and I need to like bring the best out of it and like bring in a twist, that's like what I'm genuinely good at. And also a friend of mine, a friend of mine, like, I genuinely love him. And the other, like, not the other day, but I think it's like a month ago, like 2 months ago, he showed me the music he made. And it was really interesting because he asked me for my opinion, and I told him like everything that I was seeing, and where there were like things that I thought were, like he needed to change. And it was very interesting because what he said was like the way that I was reflecting his music was so different to anyone he ever talked to. And I think like the reason why I'm sharing this is I think it's just so sad how deeply we can doubt ourselves. And I don't know, I wish I would sing more. I wish I would make my own music. I wish I would be able in the place to where I was just like, damn, let me just put it out there. Let me just put it out there, and let me just produce something, sing and whatever, and just not care if it's good or not. And I think this is like the saddest thing, and I think what so many of us are struggling with this is the fear of creating. I cannot even say it's a fear of failing so much. I mean, I think it is, but it's more the fear of creating something that is bad. But I think my issue personally is not really about like what other people are going to think of it. I think the issue is more like what confirmation, damn. I think the issue is more like what am I going to think of myself? Damn. I just realized that right now. That's my issue. It's like I'm not creating things because I'm scared of what I'm gonna think about myself. And I think this is like so much more real than a fear of like how things are gonna be perceived. Because if you think about it, like honestly, like there's so little people that I like. Like, I'm a very kind person, and I'm genuinely like very unconditional. Like, I'm just, like, I don't want to say I'm nice to everyone, but it's kind of like what I am. I'm just myself and whatever. But there's like, when I truly interact with someone, there's like very little people that I genuinely like and connect with. So why would I care about what other people think when I create something, right?